But the gingerbread man only laughed louder and ran faster, and soon he had outstripped them all again. He ran on until he met a wild wolf sitting on a log deep in the wood. "Where are you going, gingerbread man?" the wolf asked. The gingerbread man laughed as he raced past and said, "I've outrun a big grizzly bear, 2 road diggers, a man and his wife, and a little boy, and I'll outrun you too." "Oh, you will you? We'll see about that," snarled the wild wolf as he gave chase too. But the gingerbread man only laughed louder and ran faster and faster, and soon he had outstripped them all again. The gingerbread man ran on until he met a fox who was laying basking in the sun. "Where are you going, gingerbread man?" the fox asked lazily without getting up. The gingerbread man laughed and said, "I've outrun a wild wolf, a big grizzly bear, 2 road diggers, a man and his wife, and a little boy, and I'll outrun you too." And the fox replied, "Sorry, gingerbread man, I can't quite hear you. Won't you come a little closer?" The gingerbread man paused briefly for the first time and went a bit closer to the fox and said proudly in a very loud voice, "I've outrun a wild wolf, a big grizzly bear, 2 road diggers, a man and his wife, and a little boy, and I'll outrun you too." "Sorry, I still can't quite hear you. Won't you come a little closer?" asked the fox in a feeble voice. The gingerbread man went right up to the fox and leaning towards him yelled, "I've outrun a wild wolf, a big grizzly bear, 2 road diggers, a man and his wife, and a little boy, and I'll outrun you too." "Oh, you will you? We'll see about that," replied the fox, and snap! He snapped up the gingerbread man in his sharp teeth and gobbled him down just like that. And that was the end of the beautiful gingerbread man. Who could outrun the wild wolf, the big grizzly bear, the 2 road diggers, the man and his wife, and their little boy, but who couldn't outrun the wily fox? Cry Baby Bunting. Cry baby bunting, daddy's gone a-hunting, gone to fetch a rabbit skin to wrap the baby bunting in. Cry baby bunting. Dr. Foster. Dr. Foster went to Gloucester in a shower of rain. He stepped in a puddle right up to his middle and never went there again. Wise Old Owl. A wise old owl lived in an oak. The more he saw, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Why can't we all be like that wise old bird? Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, school one day, school one day. It followed her to school one day, that was against the rules. It made the children laugh and play, laugh and play, laugh and play. It made the children laugh and play to see a lamb at school. And so the teacher turned it out, turned it out, turned it out, and so the teacher turned it out, but still it lingered near, and waited patiently about, 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 and waited patiently about, till Mary did appear. Why does the lamb love Mary so, Mary so, Mary so? Why does the lamb love Mary so? The eager children cry. Why Mary loves the lamb, you know, lamb, you know, lamb, you know. Why Mary loves the lamb, you know, the teacher did reply. Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider, who sat down beside her, and frightened Miss Muffet away, away, frightened Miss Muffet away. Little Tommy Tucker. Little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper. What shall we give him? Brown bread and butter. How shall he cut it without a knife? How shall he marry without a wife? Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, three little pigs set out to seek their fortune. The first pig met a man carrying a bundle of straw, and said to him, "Please, will you let me have that bundle of straw to build a house?" The day was hot, and the man was tired with carrying the bundle of straw, so he was happy to hand it over. The little pig was delighted and set about building a house. He had just finished when a wolf came along, knocked at the door, and said, little pig, let me come in." To which the little pig replied, "No, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," cried the angry wolf. So the wolf huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the house in, and he ate up the little pig. The second little pig met a man with a bundle of sticks, and said to him, "Please, will you let me have that bundle of sticks to build a house?" The man was in a hurry to get home for his dinner, so he happily handed over the bundle of sticks. The second little pig had only just moved into his house, when along came the wolf, who said, little pig, let me come in." To which the second pig replied, "No, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," cried the angry wolf. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he puffed, and at last he blew the house in, and he ate up the little pig. The third little pig met a man with a load of bricks, and said to him, "Please, will you let me have those bricks to build a house?" The bricks were very heavy, and the man's back ached, so he readily handed them over. The third little pig had just put the finishing touches to her house, when along came the wolf, who said, little pig, let me come in." To which the third little pig replied, "No, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," cried the wolf. So the wolf huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but he could not blow the brick house in, because it was too well built. When he realized this, the wolf became very angry indeed, and declared he would climb down the chimney instead, and eat up the little pig. But the clever third pig was ready for him. He had made a buzzing, blazing fire, and had put on a pot full of water to boil. When she heard the wolf scrambling down the chimney, she took off the lid of the pot, and plop! In fell the wolf. And before anyone could say, "Chin, chin, chin," the little pig had put the lid back on again. She boiled up the wolf and ate him for supper, and lived happily ever afterwards. Ride-a-cock horse. Ride-a-cock horse to Banbury Cross, to see a fine lady upon a white horse. With rings on her fingers and bells on her toes, she shall have music wherever she goes. Incy, wincy, spider. Incy, wincy, spider, climbing up the spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. So Incy, wincy, spider went up the spout again. Simple Simon. Simple Simon met a pieman going to the fair. Said Simple Simon to the pieman, "Let me taste your ware." Said the pieman to Simple Simon, "Show me first your penny." Said Simple Simon to the pieman, "Sir, I have not any." Simple Simon went a-fishing for to catch a whale. All the water he had got was in his mother's pail. Simple Simon went to look if plums grew on a thistle. He pricked his fingers very much, which made poor Simon whistle. He went for water by a sieve, but soon it all fell through, and now poor Simple Simon bids you all adieu. Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Up Jack got, and home did trot as fast as he could caper. He went to bed to mend his head with vinegar and brown paper. Georgie Porgie. Georgie Porgie, Puddin' and Pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgie ran away. Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Little Red Riding Hood. There was once a kind little girl who was loved by everyone. Her grandmother made her a beautiful red riding coat with a hood. The girl was so pleased with the coat that she wore it nearly all the time, and soon everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said, "Little Red Riding Hood, your grandma has been ill. Take her these cakes to cheer her up. Go quickly, and don't talk to anyone on your way." Little Red Riding Hood set off at once, and as she was skipping along, she met a wolf. The wolf was so hungry that he was tempted to eat her up there and then, but he dared not because he could hear woodcutters nearby. So instead, he stopped her to ask her where she was going. Forgetting what her mother had told her, Little Red Riding Hood said, "I am taking these cakes to my grandma, who's been ill." "Oh dear, does she live near here?" asked the wolf, pretending to be kind. "Yes, in a pretty little house in the middle of the wood," answered Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf said goodbye to her, and as soon as she was out of sight, he ran as fast as he could towards Grandma's cottage. When the wolf arrived at Grandma's house, he knocked at the door. Tap, 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 tap. "Who is there?" called Grandma. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood," answered the wolf, disguising his voice. "I've brought you some cakes from Mama." "Come in, Little Red Riding Hood," called Grandma from her bed. "I've left the door on the latch." The greedy wolf went in and, gulp, gobbled down Grandma in one big mouthful without even once chewing her. He then quickly put on her spare bonnet, jumped into bed, and pulled the bedclothes up to his chin. He had scarcely settled himself when there was another knock on the door. Tap, 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 tap. "Who's there?" he called out. Little Red Riding Hood thought that her grandmother sounded a bit odd, but she decided her voice must be hoarse because she had been ill. So she answered, "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I've brought you some cakes from Mama." Softening his voice as much as he could, the wolf called out, "Come in, Little Red Riding Hood. I have left the door on the latch." Little Red Riding Hood went in, but seeing how strange her grandmother looked, she said, "Grandma, what huge ears you have." "All the better to hear you with, my dear." "Grandma, what big eyes you have." "All the better to see you with, my dear." "Grandma, what sharp teeth you have." "All the better to eat you with, my dear." And with these words, the wicked wolf fell upon poor Little Red Riding Hood and ate her up in one big gulp. Having satisfied his hunger, the wolf fell asleep and was soon snoring loudly. Zzz. In fact, he snored so loudly that a hunter passing the house decided to go in to see if something was wrong. When he saw the sleeping wolf, the hunter cried, "Aha! I've been looking for you for a long time, you rascal." He quickly chopped off the wolf's head, and out jumped Little Red Riding Hood, followed by her grandmother. So all ended well. The hunter had his wolf, Grandma ate the cakes and felt a lot better, and Little Red Riding Hood said she would never ever stop and talk to a strange wolf ever again. As I was going to St. Ives. As I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Each wife had 7 sacks, and in each sack were 7 cats. Each cat had 7 kits. Kits, cats, sacks, wives. How many were going to St. Ives? Ding dong bell. Ding dong bell, pussy's in the well. Who put her in? Little Johnny Flynn. Who pulled her out? Little Tommy Stout. What a naughty boy was that, to try to drown poor pussy cat, who never did him any harm, but killed all mice in the farmer's barn. Rain, rain, go away. Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. Little Johnny wants to play. Rain, rain, go to Spain. Never show your face again. For the want of a nail. For the want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For the want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For the want of a horse, the rider was lost. For the want of a rider, the battle was lost. For the want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. For the want of a nail. Goosey, goosey, gander. Goosey, goosey, gander, where shall I wander? Upstairs, downstairs, in my lady's chamber. There I met an old man who wouldn't say his prayers. I took him by the left leg and threw him down the stairs.